What's going on, good people? Now come on in the room. It's gonna be me for a little while tonight. I'm trying to get some things together. This is another episode of Crucial Convos, where what's real will be talked about. Tonight's conversation is why is interracial dating frowned upon? My amazing co-host is having some extreme technical difficulties right now. I'm trying to see if she'll be able to get on. If not, you'll be stuck with me and my gummy bears. Y'all gonna be able to handle that? Yeah. So, interracial dating. Let's see if my girl can get on. You're muted. Nope. All right. Tyler, what's up, brother? Good morning. It's morning somewhere, huh? Why is a boy? Why is interracial dating frowned upon? I think this thing can really go a whole bunch of ways. I think the overall it stems from slavery. I think that's one of it's seen as I don't know what's the appropriate word, but I do believe it's frowned upon because it's like out of someone else in the struggle, you decided to choose an enemy in a sense. And there's my girl, Flo. You're muted. Are you able to talk? Doesn't look like it. But yeah, my personal opinion is it stems from slavery. When you go to a white person, if you're black, I think it's always been seen as you're a traitor. You're going against the grain. Yep, you're going against the grain. And when you do that, you get looked upon like you look different. Kind of like the house nigga used to get looked at bad. You know, since he's in the house, he's still getting called nigger, still susceptible to being raped. You know, horrible conditions, but because he has better clothes and he has to talk a better way, it's I think it's viewed as something very, very horrible. To slavery, I believe slavery. Slavery is a cornerstone of most of our issues when it comes to the overall outlook on American standards. I feel like it's just it doesn't help us. It's real. It is how it goes, but I don't think it helps us much. F.L.O.R, are you able to speak? Doesn't look like it. Can you even hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yes, now I can. Hello.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so her phone is still tripping. Are you able to start all over? What did I miss? Hey, Denise. We're just getting it going. Sorry for those who are just tuning in. We have some technical difficulties. Um, our girl F.L.O.R is she. Oh, wait a minute. Maybe she's on her area in Denver. Just the whole area, the internet's out. It's like some kind of power outage right now, and it's really making stuff hard for everybody involved. I know it's just frustrating for her because she's ready to get on. So right now she's just off of whatever cell tower she got. Can you speak now,
Am I
Floor?
coming in clear?
Let's see. There we go. Wait,
Can you hear
are
me?
you there? Yes. Yes.
Okay, so when I
All
tell
right.
y'all, really, really, really trying his best to stop what it is that we have going on. I don't even understand how I couldn't even pull from my data, not Wi-Fi. My data wouldn't even work in my house. Had to come to the gas station to sit outside to make sure I'm
Well, it's kind of still going in and out. It's kind of still going in and out, so I can't really hardly. I mean, as you're talking, it just breaks up and pauses, like you pause. But we out here, we in here, and we're gonna keep this thing rolling as best as we can. Hopefully, things will chime in. Things will end up better for you, so you can chime in and give your perspective. Because I would love to hear your viewpoint on this. Hopefully, uninterrupted. But if not, you know, what you need to do is go in the gas station, get you some of these gummy bears, sprinkle them over your phone. Say 2 Hail Marys, 1 Grand Rising, and then and then sprinkle some sage. Not the big bundle that they buy and burn. Like go into your cupboard, get some sage out the little spice rack,
addressing with.
and just sprinkle it on there. I think it'll work. Wasn't we just talking about you and this droid a couple days ago? Where's Paris at when you need her? I do get my arms out. I ain't feel like putting on no shirt. I've been in this all day. I've been grocery shopping with the bottom of my belly out. I don't care. But anyway, yeah, her phone is kind of going in and out. We had technical difficulties, guys, so just bear with us. It's going to be mainly me and you guys. So I'm going to be really relying on y'all's participation so we can kind of keep this thing moving. I hope that's all right with y'all. The first point I was making was, before we get to this one, was slavery's effect or the slavery effect. I feel like the bulk of the issue it stems from slavery. If you date someone white, no matter how it'll get you out of the space you're in, it'll get you out of, it'll change your whole economic status. Your children will be raised in a better environment, even in slavery. They would have been better off, um, most likely. But that's what we still look at it as. It's just not bad because it's like you're trading us. You're trading on us. Um, Next one says, "Have you ever dated outside of my race?" Personally, I have not. That everybody I've dated has been their origin is from this place my whole life. But to be realistic, I genuinely feel like it's because of what I'm exposed to. I grew up in a predominantly black city, very small city, but predominantly black, where I didn't see many white people or Spanish people. I don't think there were any Asians, very few. Besides, like the gas station, I know that sounds so racist, but the only ones I can think of, gas station people, smileys, stuff like that. But I wouldn't be opposed to it as an adult. I'm not around them enough. I'm attracted to, what I'm attracted to. I like black girls. Bernicia, you say you have not, but you've definitely considered it. What has been your hang up? Is it just availability, like people who you're attracted to, or why haven't you so far? If you can answer that. Because I think the major reason why I haven't is because of that, because I'm just around black people. Like most of my world is black. Not all of it. Gratefully, I do have some other cultures that I am in cahoots with, in a sense. But absolutely, black women have been it for me. That's all I want. You can be mixed though, but you know if you mix anything with black, it's black. So God bless. Phoenicia says, to be honest, just haven't followed through. We end up talking and being friends only. That's kind of hard too, you know, jumping from all black to a different race, mainly white. I feel like the main people that we date are white. I'm sure there's more. There's more Latino and Asian. I'm not sure about the Native American population. I got to look that up. Hopefully, I'll find some on that. But I think we normally tend to go towards white first, and then everybody else maybe second. I have to look that up too, though. Let's see. With your family interaction, does your family mind or does their family mind? That's a great question because I think that would be a big determining factor. Oh, you said no. To be honest, I've never. This is Venetia. Never date African and what? To be honest, I've never dated African Americans. Only Africans. Oh, you've only dated Africans, not black people. And by black people, I mean African American. I didn't know that, Venetia. That's what's up. I guess Africans need to be considered. Is that interracial though? Ain't somebody else. It's a lot of tension between hell. There's a lot of tension between us and everybody though. Maybe we're the tension. Let's see. But the family interactions. Does your family? It just went away. Does your family mind, or does their family mind? I think that would be a huge thing to consider. I know my mom. You know, my mom. I gotta say it. She's always said, you know, she wouldn't she wouldn't be thrilled if I brought home a white girl. And I truly believe the bulk of that is because of her experiences. She's seen how stuff backfired. I say it to be no, I could she's seen it where a lot of white women have cried rape or cried abuse or just cried in general and gotten the black man towed up or killed. Or he lost his life, lost his job, lost everything, you know. And I know that the historical heritage is a big part of it. Now, I think it's also a worry though of of if their family would like you, if they'll mind that they're dating someone outside of their race. Because if your family's like mine, which I'm sure it is, we got some little inside jokes about other people, about our own people. So other people they get it worse almost, and we give it to ourselves horribly. Um, Venetia says, we have interracial marriages in my family, and we are very accepting. We love the way families become. Interracial, I guess, families become. And yes, she's only dated Africans, but I'm going to try something different very soon. That's what's up. Now, I do have one cousin who has dated a Hispanic who thinks she's more than what she is. And our family has a different time with her and having her around. What's that? What she is in our family and that difficult time. Okay, difficult time with her and having her around. I can see that. The cultures are different. That would probably be the hardest thing. Not even so much. Not even so much. if they like you. It's if the family would like you if y'all get serious. Because if you get serious, that means you have to blend those families, and that's the hard part. Especially if you get racists on that are in your immediate family. They usually don't have anything to do with you. Usually, if you're over that stuff, but it can be hard. Going to family gatherings. Can you even go? Can you even go? Let's just say, Nikki, that I got a story for every topic y'all bring up. I got to stay off here. No, no, no. You're more than welcome. Keep coming. And you can definitely tell us your story. Absolutely. Denise says, how would you feel if the boys dated someone of another race and culture? Wouldn't mind at all. I wouldn't mind at all. I would definitely keep them abreast of what the underlying tone could be, and for them to keep their eyes open. But I wouldn't care. And which is another reason why I do feel like it's because of what I was exposed to. My kids are raised in schools where it was kind of half white, half black, or like a lot more white than black versus how I grew up. So they're around it. And then after we first moved here, it was mostly white and Spanish. But at the same time, my son got called a nigger with the R the first time out here in Texas. Out here in Texas, that it's harder to like the white people I've noticed down here. They don't mind saying it. They'll look you in your eyeball. Like what? That's what you are. Whereas up north, it's just not that way. It's just not, and I think the a major reason for that is people up north. Most of the people up north are really from down south. I won't say most, but I'm sure there's a whole bunch. You know what I'm saying? Like my grandparents, both of them were somewhere from down south. I think my granny from like Tupelo, Mississippi, or something like that. You know what I'm saying? And once you get away from that, you kind of ease up and you chill out and you don't talk about, those things don't come up. There's more of a respect, even if they don't like you. There's an overall respect. So that's pretty cool. But now what tends to happen down here is it's never stopped. It's been like grinding to a halt for the last 100 years. It's just been slowing down. So it's not like that. But I definitely wouldn't have a problem with my boys dating anybody white, um, Indian, I mean Asian, any Asian or Hispanic. So yeah. Benicia says, so true, and some have been taught the wrong definition of the word when it's used. Or what word, dear? I'm kind of stuck. Denise asks again, or she says down at the bottom here, in New Mexico, it's predominantly Hispanic. So I see a lot of mixed couples. I agree that it's what you're exposed to. Yeah, in New Mexico, I've seen more Spanish and white than black. I want to say the black is the minority in New Mexico. I lived there for about 5 or 6 years. Loved it out there. Beautiful place. It wasn't enough culture for me. It wasn't enough music for me. But Emery was actually born there. His schools then were, Mexican or Spanish and white. So yeah, he's been exposed to a lot more. Both of them have been exposed to a lot more diverse, relationships than I ever have. Oh, the N word, Venetia. Yeah, I got you now. Yeah, some have been taught the wrong definition of the word. That's true. Socially, are their friends racially considerate? And what does racially considerate even mean? Tell me, you guys, what you guys think racially considerate mean. I think that's really, really obvious, but sometimes it's not. This is another thing that we have to consider when we're talking about dating interracially. Is are their friends racially considerate? One thing, because friends have, we all have jokes. We have jokes that don't even mean nothing. to us. Like it's it would be offensive if the other person heard it, but we don't say it with malice or anything. So I'm sure other coaches have to have the exact same thing. They have to have the exact same type of stuff. And if your friends are cool, and if they're racially considerate, which clearly just obviously means are they accepting of other cultures, of other races and cultures? Because that's the hard thing. All right, Trees, what's up, girl? I know when I was growing up, they used to say if you dated outside your race, you were called a sellout. Where we at? In the sellout. I never dated outside my race. I say love is love. The way the world is set up, it seems we are going backwards instead of forward. I have heard people say that they are afraid to date outside of their race. What makes you say that we're going backwards instead of forward? Because I think I agree, Artrice, with everything else you said except for that part. Unless I just don't understand what you meant by it. I think you're spot on. And so this is exactly how it is. Like there's a stigma. Like I'm 40. So people in the age range of, let's say, 35 to 45, we get the same age parents, right? Our parents, a lot of them, grew up in the Jim Crow and just see, I don't even know if we can truly understand what it means to, walk up and see a colored only water fountain or colored entrance around the back. Like really truly, like that is a norm. You know what I'm saying? Where right now, especially the climate we in, we kind of overall soft too. That would just send folks in the tizzy right now. When that was regular, that was a normal way of doing life. But it does play a role to our psyche unconsciously. I'm sure it messes us up. I'm sure it bothers us. I'm sure it just gets us all over the place. And we grow up with that stuff. And then we have other instances happen where we've been racially profiled or we didn't get something because we were, discriminated against. And so we grow up saying to ourselves or saying our kids better not. You know what I'm saying? Our kids better not. And that's what we do. And I don't even think our parents mean nothing by it overall. It's just in their minds, it's just safer. In their minds, it's safer. Montez, what's up, my boy? He says, I think we are just too invested in what everybody thinks of us. I definitely agree with that. I think that definitely plays a whole big old part. What people think about us really matters, though. And that probably needs to be a whole topic of conversation in itself. Because I do wholeheartedly believe that what people think about us matters to us. And it should. And it shouldn't be frowned upon as much as it is. But I think it is frowned upon because we give them too much. We care too much about what other people think. Of course, if you have friends and loved ones and just being out, you don't want to look a mess. You don't want to sound a mess when you're talking. When you look at a mess, when your clothes, let's say you're messed up, you got holes in your stuff. You don't want to, look a mess, and you want to be accepted, and you want the approval of your peers. So in that aspect, I think it's perfectly fine. I don't see anything wrong with us wanting the approval of our peers. But like you say, we're too invested, which is the issue. Too invested. Some of it is, I feel like, is necessary. Montez also says, we'll never understand that and shouldn't be held to the standard of that era in life. I know there's a thin line there, or is it? There is a pretty thin line because so much stuff still keeps coming up racially, whereas it gets blended. I don't even think everything that happens. Let's say a black person does something to a white person, or vice versa. right now, and just like how it was during slavery, it was just automatically, not just slavery, but in the old days too, automatically given away as racist. When even though there are some elements into it, I don't believe that was always the case. If you don't have enough money for a house loan, and Eric, the white guy, doesn't either, but he has a better future, or like they can see where he'll be okay. They may give him the loan before they give it to you. That's not necessarily racist. Could be prejudice, discrimination, of course. Um, but then I'm a fan of I don't even know the actual word, but I don't think stereotypes are wrong. So I'm probably the wrong one to talk to about that. Our trees, she says racism. Uh-oh. All right. She says racism is on the rise. Okay. It seems as if we are back in the old days. Racial profile is on the rise. I would still say it's better, our trees, and I do hear your point, and I thank you for that. I would say it's better because they was killing willy nilly back then, killing us for no reason. Now it definitely still happens, and they definitely sometimes still get off. Um, I wouldn't say that part is worse. I wouldn't personally. I would. I think I look at it. I think I look at it just a little differently. Like for me, like they can talk all they want. They can stop us from getting the jobs and the houses and stuff like that. That to me, as much as they can do, bankrupt us and everything, is still better than death. Now that's to me. I think that the fact that they could just, take it all with no explanation, no nothing, no yes. I think that was way worse back then as far as how it's going. Folks are gonna be racist forever. We're prejudiced. I don't believe black people can be racist because we don't control enough to affect their bottom line. They do, which is what I think is racist. Yeah, but I appreciate that. Please keep them coming to our trees. Nikki, when my parents allowed me to start dating, I stayed dating oh my God, a clear man. Honestly, those were my best relationships. Oh, we coming back to that, dear. I've never been treated the same since. However, now that I'm older and I've learned so much more, I question if those relationships were genuine or was I the trophy black girl? That's a good question to ask yourself. Please highlight that because we definitely coming back to that in the middle. Matter of fact, we might want to hit it now. I think we were talking about it last week or a week before, maybe just in our production meetings about some of our topics. Y'all say hello to my boy sneaking back there. I don't know why y'all ain't just go through the garage. um, she says she's never been treated the same since. She said, honestly, those were my best relationships. We were talking, and I want to say it was either on here or maybe, like I said, our production meeting about why I stay black if the bulk of your experiences have been negative, if when you dated black people, why stay? Why do we limit our pool of people to choose from to this? This is black folks. When white people they get the same amount, Indian get the same amount, Asian get the same amount, whatever. But we choose from this. And I'm not afraid of asking that question, especially for the black men, because black men need to feel needed. I think everybody would at least won't argue with that. Um, and black women are, if not the only, the loudest to say, I don't need a man. So if that's the dynamic that we have, why not move around? If we can go around, and that's a good point too. If we can move around and be treated like what we want to be treated like, of course, with problems and issues, there's still a relationship. There's still two whole backgrounds coming together to become one and try to make a whole new life. So it's not like changing races, quote unquote, will make stuff easier or just make it all right, or like you just live happily ever after. That's not the thing. But if one major issue is going away, like I know a lot of black women's gripe against us black men, we don't know how to treat them. And so if Nikki is one example, I have plenty others that they're not on here. I don't want to put their business out. But I have some other friends as well. But Nikki said this was her best relations. Those were her best relationships. Um, so I need. She said I need one L. I wasn't even raised hearing that from my mama. Yeah, most of us were not. But if you think about it, you know, if you can get if you can be treated well by someone other than your own race, is that not the goal? I had a friend, a good friend of mine. I asked last week or 2 weeks ago or so. I asked her about interracial dating. Would she ever do it? Has she ever done it? No, and why not? It basically was like, no, I never did it, and you just stay black pretty much because they understand the jokes and the movies, which that's a big part of it. Saying some jokes, or you just saying a joke that another black person would laugh at, that a white or Hispanic person would just look at you and then you feel kind of stupid. And then she was also saying just the black experience of how they treat you and how they, could be stand up people and take care of you and this, that, blah, 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 blah. Now she's single and she's in her 40s. And I asked her, has she ever experienced that from a black person, a black man? And she had seen it for a little bit and she was like, no. So I'm like, so right back to my question, why should we limit ourselves to only dating our race? Given our climate, I mean, stuff's different. I get it. It would be different. It wouldn't be the same. And if we approach it like we would approach Ray Ray, we're going to lose Brad immediately. But why? So, Nikki, I don't know if you were the trophy black girl. It's a very strong possibility. I think you're a very glamorous girl, and I'm sure you've always been that way. So that could be a thing, but I don't think the bulk of them, especially if you're talking about younger, and I'm not sure if that was the mindset. Could have been. I'm just not sure if they were like, let me see if I can get Nikki. They would have probably been, if you're anything like you were, if you're how you are, if you were like you were, if you were then how you are now, they wouldn't, I don't think they would step into you like that. But it could be. And I don't know that, this is just my reading your stuff and saying it. Very well could be. But I do also know that we do tend to overanalyze things. We put too much on it. We think about it too much. We let it go through our brains way too much. And then we put ourselves in a negative spot. It could have been they just really liked you. It could have been that they were just raised knowing how to express their emotion and they were taught how to treat a lady. It could have been that they just wasn't playing games on you. Could have been that they wasn't trying to run around and see if they can get with your friend because she smiled at them too long. Like a bunch of the other experiences from, our culture. Not to say that white people or whoever else don't do that. So don't, and I ain't gonna keep doing like fixing myself either. I want y'all to know this is how I talk. So if there's a problem, just go back and reread, listen to the whole thing. Yeah. But it could be that they were just better for you, which means the other side ain't. uh, Am I being fetishized? Which is a big question, the same type of question that Nikki asks, pretty much. That seems so far fetched, but I think that happens more so now. I'm sure it's always happened though. I'm sure it is. I mean, I'm sure it has. I think that happens a lot more now though, where it's like you say, like, man, I could be, glamorous or whatever. They just like, man, I really want a black girl. Look at her, she cool. Or I really want a black dude. Look at him, he seems cool. That could be. And then if you notice that, you got to get up out of there. That's all. Just leave. Nikki says, what I found dating white versus black is white men operate more in their feelings. Black men are taught to keep their feelings to themselves. So the white relationships felt way more gentle versus with a black man, I felt like what's really going on. No, that's real. I think that's a very strong point. I'm not even sure if it's just black men no more. It used to be where it was just us who were taught not to express our emotions and not to, you know, say or speak up, say how we really feel. But a lot of you women doing that now. You get hurt back in high school, that's it. That's it. Or you get hurt once outside of high school. What's that? Jay-Z had a song who said, well, once a good girl's gone bad, she's gone forever. And sheesh. That is a sad reality for a lot of people. I'm sure that's not everybody, but that's a sad reality for a lot of people. It's very hard not to become bitter. But if that is your experience, it's like if you've had several relationships and they were all horrible. Let's say you got abused in every one or four of the six. Why not move around? Why not date outside your race? Why not look another way? Why not go some other places where those types of people are at? Like, why not? Like, y'all won't go back to Red Lobster if there's a blonde hair in your food. But you'll keep going back to the Ray Ray types. And men, we do the same thing too. We keep going back to Bonquisha, knowing she ain't about the right. Like, why do we keep doing it? Like, we hope, like, it's like we're putting ourselves in. This is clearly not to say that it couldn't happen with another race. But for right now, most of us are 0 for 10. Ooh, just let that sink in. However many relationships, I ain't talking about like sexual partners per se. I mean relationships. You're 0 for how many? And I say 0 if you're not married. Because that should be the goal. Especially now that we're getting old. I'm 0 for, I don't even know. I'll just say 10 just to give a right bold number. Most of us are 0 for 10 with other black people. Why not move around? I want to hear one good argument, if there could be one made, why we shouldn't date outside of our race. Because I haven't heard one. I haven't heard one good argument. I've heard the normal one. Well, they just know us better. You can't trust, or no. This is one thing that black men say. Cause man, if she scream rape, you're gonna lose. Which is a high percentage of that. High percentage of that. I'm like, but don't act like you're a black girl. Your baby mama ain't never called the cops on you for nothing to get you sent to jail. You know what I'm saying? Like that's a far-fetched thing. I'm sure that can happen as far as white women or whoever, screaming rape because she's embarrassed because her daddy don't like it, whatever. There's a whole thing behind that, which is another fear of how of another thing that you would have to overcome while dating outside of your race. But let's not act like we haven't had horrible experiences with our own. Then there's also religious differences. Is that a deal breaker? If they grew up Catholic, you grew up Baptist, or Kojic Baptist, let's say Baptist. You grew up Baptist, they grew up Catholic. Neither one of y'all are really practicing no more, if we be real. We do feel like we have a closer connection to God. I think black folks just think that. Like we have a better connection to God, you know what I'm saying? But I'm not sure if that's the case. So is that a deal breaker? If I have a buddy who believes in God, goes to church. His wife doesn't go at all. So that wasn't, I'm not sure of her faith exactly, but they're married and have been for a while. Denise says, Nikki, I think men in general are taught from a young age to man up. Crying is for sissies. Is that how you spell sissies? I've never spelled that in my whole life. Man. Anyway, so they don't express their feelings. And then as they date, they are told to express how they feel, but they don't know how. Or when they do, they get shut down. So damned if you do, damned if you don't. And that's men in general, not just black or white or polka dots. That's true. That is true. I do believe that is a regular thing. You're supposed to be the protector. And if you instead of autocorrect them. I don't really see a problem with that. There should be you don't want a man that's like that. You really don't. Especially not today's black woman or Spanish. You don't want Denise either. She's the same. I swear, I think this Hispanics and blacks, we about equal. We about what and what in a lot of ways, man. You don't want that kind of guy, though. You do want a man who can express himself, but you don't want it. That wasn't even the design for men to act like women when it comes to their emotions. And the same can be said about women acting like men when it comes to their emotions. Y'all want to hide it, put it down, and y'all think that blocking him and deleting the pictures that y'all put up is enough. Out of sight, out of mind. Men ain't supposed to be like that. Like we're not. We're supposed to be different because we're supposed to be the fix for each other. I'm supposed to be this, you're supposed to be that, and we're supposed to come together like this. But if we both are, let's say we like this, and we both doing this, because we get the same stuff, now what? We're not going nowhere. Now, saying the word submit is worse than calling her the B word. Because y'all don't want to act like us. There's a way to handle business, be a business owner, and everything, and still be feminine, which is what most men want. Most men don't want a woman who can be feminine. Like depending on something. Like as long as something happens, let's say you do this and that, I'll do that and this. Not like that. We want a woman who is a woman. I'll say traditional. For those who like traditional women, that's what we like. Nikki says, I agree. I agree, love. Thank you. Wait, no, the first one. I agree, love. However, the method that is used in which that teaching is given is different from black versus white. That's true because the white people are still taught to express themselves. We are not. They actually get a chance to growing up. They get to yell at their parents. Oh my God. They get to say, I don't want this, I don't want that for dinner. And Mom, I told you to get my skateboard out the shop. Close my door. That's my room. What are you doing in my room? Whew, I'm having a hard time saying that stuff out loud. Yeah, that stuff like that will never ever fly in a black home. Well, I won't say never. Nowadays, it's starting to fly. We wanted to be more understanding. What's up, Kennedy? But that ain't happening. That's not even, but and so even though that's how they did it, they were really learning how to express themselves. Even though that method wouldn't work for me in my house. Um, they were taught that was the inadvertent lesson that was taught. It's how to express yourself, and also how to listen and how to understand and have compassion. You know what I'm saying? That's not usually the lesson in a black home. Nikki says, I agree that all boys are taught that, but because of the different backgrounds, it's taught in a different way with different tones, etc. I'm responding to Denise. Yeah. I don't know who to add. I don't know how to add nobody. No, you're fine. Yeah. I think we are saying the same thing overall, but there is a difference in how black boys and black girls are raised. Black boys and white boys and Hispanic boys. I love your input. Oh, you are wise, Em. I appreciate that, girl. Wish there were more men on here. Here to here. Uh-oh, I don't get lost. I need to breathe over here on the little side because when they come over here, I get lost every time. I wish there were more men on here to hear what their input is, too. I know, right? I had seen your post on this subject, and what they had to say was interesting. The men, you mean about about which topic, Denise? About dating outside of your race? Yeah. What are some deal breakers in an interracial? What is? Give me some more. You know what? Hold on. Give me a second. I got to power up. Bing. All right. What are some deal breakers in interracial dating? I still want to say put an N in that word. Interracial dating. Say it, brother. I don't think her parents saying nigger would be a deal breaker for me. Now I might get put out the black club for that. If her parents are like I said, I'm 40, and your parents should be at least 60-ish, older, something like that. Not in all cases, but just average speaking. Um, which means they had different experiences. Um, they're gonna probably still have some remnants of racism. I feel like if you're over there a lot or always around them and always taking their input, and that's how they talk, then yes, that would be a deal breaker. I'm gonna have to smack you for defending your mom and them too tough. Smack! I promote violence in with it. Let me stop. I do not. I was trying to think of that the N word. What's some deal breakers while interracial dating? See, I haven't had enough experiences to be able to even put something on paper. Nikki says it would be a deal breaker if his mom and daddy said it and he didn't do nothing about it. It ain't nothing he could do, all right? Do you mean like if he didn't say, Mom or Dad, why don't y'all chill out? Why don't you stop? What's wrong with you disrespecting? Do you mean that way? You can do that, but like actually change their behavior, I don't think there's nothing that he could do. So, but that would be a deal breaker for you. I'm trying to think. Kennedy, what would be a deal breaker? Let's see. Do you date outside of your race, Kennedy? If you're still on, um, a deal breaker. Too many jokes about race might be. You said no, I do not. Why don't you, Kennedy? I feel like too many racist jokes would put me on my heels, and I'd be a little. It wouldn't work, to say the least. Um, Another deal breaker. I'm tripping. I don't really have much. Let me see. Nikki says he can't change their behavior. However, the way he handles the situation would let me know where his head is at as well. Yeah, yeah. I feel you on that. 100%. Okay, I want y'all to help me out. What's some other deal breakers? I'm trying to, let me go to my little list of stuff. See, I wouldn't mind much like being out in public and people talking crazy about me or like saying little stuff. I don't think I've never experienced this. So let me just say that too. I don't think that would bother me as much. I'm sure it would probably get annoying. But I'm trying to think of some good deal breakers, y'all. Well, yeah, you're gonna have to come back to that one because it would be for me a deal breaker if I decide to date you. It would be the regular red flag stuff that I would give a black lady. It wouldn't be just a racial thing. Losing friends are is losing friends a deal breaker? Losing friends because we're dating? No, I wouldn't. If you can't, if our friendship is contingent upon me dating black only or whatever, or doing stuff how you think I should do it, no. That's really for anybody. I would hate for that to be my family. I'm really close to my family, and I really seriously 100% doubt it would be that way. I'm just trying to think hypothetically, like what would it be? You know what I'm saying? And that would just I wouldn't. It wouldn't bother me much. Denise, I think how you set the tone with family, religion, etc. when you're dating let you know how you or the relationship will be valued once you get married. I agree with that 100%. I agree. Like if your parents are racist, um, you would have to if things don't change, you may have to denounce them. You know what I'm saying? And I would be willing to for my rib, and that's saying a lot because I love my family like crazy. And but if they couldn't get with my girl and they steady disrespecting her whenever we're around, that little jokes, little stuff, little this, that, and they refuse to act right, I had to start messing with them. Yep. But that goes to Denise's point, how you set it up in the beginning. Like I would never let my mom or dad, let's see, they never would though, or they never have. But no, I wouldn't let that happen. You can't disrespect my girl. It's not gonna happen. Right, my red flags wouldn't change because of the color of their skin. Yeah, I was trying to figure something. I don't think I have none for white people or for Spanish people. I say this for Spanish: if you put red chilies and everything in my macaroni, I'm out. You put one pepper, anything other than cheese and milk or whipping cream, whatever you want to eat. Put some peppers in there. See what happens. See if you wait until tonight, girl. Put some peppers in my macaroni. It's not happening. He said, "Tell me, I'll say it for you, Denise." I'm telling you. Yeah, I don't mind it, man. I don't think it's that big of a deal. I do believe, well, obviously, things are better now when it comes to dating outside your race. It's more acceptable. They did a survey in 1967 where at the time, I want to say it was 6% or 3% across the country. 3% of all married people. There we go. In 67, All right, interracial marriages went from 3% in '67 to 19% by 2019. So these surveys do take a long time. That's why I'm like, man, is there anything recent? But most bigger surveys, when it deals with a lot of people, they're a couple years old. So it's definitely jumped. Look at that by itself. And a bunch of it's jumped because a bunch of the reason why it's jumped so far is because it's accepted now. You're not getting lynched if someone sees you with, like, that's a deterrent. You know how many people like loved each other secretly or never even said anything? Like never even opened their mouth at all, not one time, because of that same stuff. Because they were afraid to. They lose their job, lose their life. Nothing will happen to the girl if it was a white girl and a black guy. I don't even know if it was much with a white guy and a black girl. I can see it, but I don't really see it being half as it's not a big deal. Like they would probably say, just have sex with her. Don't be trying to bring her home and marry her, type of thing. Whereas I don't think that they would even give. No, I don't even know if they would, because back contraceptive was not a thing in those days. They probably would stay away, but I think it would be okay in the eyes of men because of sex. Um, I think that's unfair, but the men, like if it's a black guy dating a white woman, he'll eventually be her husband, type of the natural progression of things. He'll be the husband one day, which means they'll have little black mixed babies. What they would say, little black babies mixed in with theirs, and they don't want that. You know, yeah, I don't know. That's crazy. So things are better, in my opinion, right now than they've ever been when it comes to interracial dating. Hey, I can do logs extend what? Make real mac and cheese, play spades, and I don't put child in everything. Listen, no. The fact that you can play spades when a lot of black people can't is a W. And I'm sure your macaroni fire. I'm sure of it. Question: can you take the undefeated internet on your pictures from social media involvement? Like to post them or not to post them? That is the question. Could you take the internet? Because there's a lot of folks who would just control you, right? Don't be a handsome black man. I saw this post. Where was that on? It was somewhere on social media last week. It was no, that was something else. It was a white girl telling black girls to chill out on their men. Well, she was responding to this video, but she wasn't the cutest, and she had a neck tattoo on. I said, I guarantee you, these black folks won't hear finna let her have it and talk about everything else that's trivial and not even address none of the points she's saying. That's what I mixed those two together. Yeah, but the internet is undefeated. The internet will get you together, and that would be something. I feel like we could all benefit from weighing things out, weighing out the options, like what would what are the possibilities? You know what I'm saying? Of like, if I date this person, even if it's same race, he would benefit so much more from it if we would do it. If we would just, consider what could happen. At a minimum, prepare for some of the likelihoods that come along with it. Talk to other couples. I'm sure there's some online um, groups and stuff on some of these social sites, Facebook especially, I'm sure, on how to deal with stuff, places that they hang out. I'm sure they got a little section that have a little community. I'm sure of it. Do a little research and see what's up. Get out there. Go to where they at. Another thing I always heard, and this is so wrong, and I even feel bad saying this out loud. They say, one reason black women don't date white men is they smell like dogs. They smell like dog. That's what I've always heard. And I've experienced that a time or two. It's crazy though. All right, Denise said, is it a regional issue? You said earlier it's what you're exposed to. So in the South, is it different from the West Coast on how interracial relationships are accepted? I'm sure. I think the West Coast, if I hear the word West Coast, I think Cali. So Cali's pretty much the standard to me. Oh my God. This girl. Where's the block button at? We're gonna have to block Nikki. Oh yeah, you going back for that one. I might take a screenshot of this now. It's gonna be her last sighting for 30 days. Oh my goodness. What was Denise saying? Let me go back. All right, is it a regional issue? No, possibly, but not necessarily. There were plenty of white people in my area. They didn't go to the hood school unless they were hood. Like their hood, we had a couple trailer parks. I don't think many black people stayed in there. So I'm sure there were white people sprinkled around. Like for our class reunion a couple years ago, I was looking at the list. I was like, oh, I remember Sarah Starbursky. That name sounded like a white name, right? The white girl. There's a couple other people, a couple other guys. I'm like, dang, so there were some around. Um, but not in the hood. Not nobody I would want to date necessarily in the hood. But right across the bridge was a whole pretty much predominantly white school where most of the white people went to. Well, they went to all the schools. We had St. Joe, we had Eau Claire, Coloma, what else? Waterville, Elite, Niles, I guess. I mean, there's a bunch of, white schools per se. So regionally, I don't know. Um, I think it's still kind of, about who you're exposed to. No offense to white people, I always thought they would smell like cat pee, not like dog. All right, let's get the animals off these white folks. Can we do that just for the night? We need to save some stuff for our inside nigga meeting. We can cut all our secrets. No, but just that is a deterrent though. Your body smell like the chemistry, how your body interacts with soap, cologne, or lack thereof. I've been seeing lately too, though. Now, I've been seeing this. I'm gonna say this. I've been seeing lately where these white women don't take baths regularly. Is there any truth to that? Just saw one today where this girl says she takes a bath once every 5 or 6 days, and she washes her hair. Really doesn't do anything to her body because the soap runs down her body. These are the words she said. She was like, "This is my truth. I'm just telling y'all what it is. This isn't my past. This is my present." I'm like, but I've been seeing that a couple different on a couple different posts the past couple of weeks. What is that about? He said, "I don't know." Denise says, "I don't know, but white people are washing their toilet seats in the dishwasher." All right, all right, all right. I don't know, man. Black folks, we really don't like smells. I'll be smelling something in the air. I'll be immediately going to my arm. Like, wait a minute. I got a weak stomach too. I throw up. Oh, we. It's amazing. I used to be able to drink as much as I used to. Anyway, Phoenicia, yes, I've heard of that, and that I don't understand. It's too hot. I'm trying to get in at least twice a day. I just don't know about this bathing thing. Like, is it like the same with their chicken? They don't wash their chicken. I'm lost over here. There's a bunch of differences though, y'all. How it boils down, it's just um, I do feel like for the most part we are comfortable with um, who we like. It's almost like pick the devil you know versus the devil you don't. I say let's not pick no devils. Let's cut them off if you see devilish behavior, and let's go look for somebody else in a different skin tone. Let's see how it goes. But you do have to also get up to. You have to talk to them too. That's like a lost art. People don't talk. There's texting and stuff and online stuff. It got folks with so much anxiety when you go talk to people, or if you can ever talk to somebody. It just gives us so much anxiety. Let's get off of that. Go talk to some people. Talk to some randoms in the gas station. You start the conversation because the idea with that is it'll get you out of your comfort zone. You won't be afraid for when the opportunity comes. I remember when little Emery was little. um, like he was very, very quiet around people, but loud at home. And the other introverts around was like, let them be that. It's okay. I'm not of that mindset. I'm like, however you are, whatever it is, you need to be a little bit of the opposite way. And that mindset is what will keep you not thinking more of yourself than you are. If you always got to work on something, if you accept that and understand it, then you won't be so high and mighty acting. You'll have a better view of yourself, a more realistic view of yourself than what may be currently there. So I used to make him go to 3 random people wherever we went, restaurant, grocery store, gas station, and ask them 3 questions apiece. Randoms. I made him do that for 6 months or so, maybe a little bit longer. And now he don't meet strangers either now. He's still an overall quiet kid, which that'll probably never go nowhere. But I wanted him to add to what he has and not just leave it at that. If you're an introvert, you need to open your mouth some more. If you're an extrovert, you need to shut up some more. That's just how it goes. In my opinion, at least. Nikki says you have to understand that they have cultural, generational curses too. As far as slavery, do you mean, or you just mean in general? And how does that apply? Exactly, Nikki. Because that is a big point. That's a big point. But I would say, just like that, they also have cultural, generational blessings. There's a whole privilege that doesn't get spoken about enough. That being attached could help your life. Amen. Hallelujah. Amen. Lights. Ain't nobody talking in here. Nikki says, let's see, you can put it over here. We were the ones who taught them taught them literally everything. Generationally, white folks didn't do housework, manners, raise their kids. We did that. That's why I feel generationally and naturally they're nasty. All right. Well, before they were slaves, they took care of their kids. And cleaned the house. And after slavery was the same. They definitely used us as nannies and to do the bulk of the work. But I don't want us to also think that every white person in America had slaves either. Like the people on the plantations were basically farmers of some sort, and they needed their stuff. I'm not giving them a pass. Don't take that. I don't. I just don't think everybody. I don't think every white person had slaves. You know what I'm saying? I think that's who we. I think a lot of them. Clearly, a lot of them did. But everybody, I don't think so. So there were still some people who had to clean their house and cook and farm their own land. They didn't have slaves, so they had to get them and their kids had to go out there and farm and reap the harvest and plant and irrigate, you know, corral the cattle or whatever they had. So I don't know if I agree with that. We definitely had a whole hand in there, you know, being nannies and stuff to the kids and cleaning and cooking and stuff. But I don't. But every movie, a movie is a movie. The reality, I don't think every white person owned slaves. So that means that they had to still do their work, right? But we definitely did it. But you said that's why I feel generationally and naturally they're nasty. I think that nasty part is mostly um, how their body chemistry meshes with the products that we use today. That's really what I believe. They said, what was that deodorant back in the day? Strong enough for a man, but pH balanced for a woman, or whatever it was, something like that. Yeah, have you? I've had to use Secret a couple times when I ain't have none and whatever. That is the worst smelling stuff on the planet to me. Nikki says, yes, they did. However, that period was heavy for a lot of folks. No, every worse, a white person didn't have slaves. Black folks and brown folks owned slaves. That's true. No, that's true. Even in America. Um, yeah. Why is interracial dating frowned upon? Can we name any benefits? Like I think I named one right there. That white privilege. That's a thing. If you ask me, let me look at my little notes here. Yeah, I believe that's a plus. One benefit is diverse genetics, which means less recessive diseases. In your kids, if you got something, you gonna get it. But your kids will have mixed genes, which is, that makes them susceptible to some stuff themselves just for that, but it cancels out a bunch. Um, Another benefit is you get to expand your pool of people to choose from. We talked about that a little bit. You also get to explore new cultures and adequately sharing your own culture. And I say adequately because a lot of people only know your stuff from TV, know our stuff, know anybody's stuff. It's like if you look at only what the media is showing, especially back in the 90s and early 2000s, Africa was only AIDS. Like you only knew about AIDS and famine. There's a whole thriving cities and cities and cities out there with money being made. You know what I'm saying? And partying and clubs and good music. But when you only see what you see on TV, that's the only picture you have. And then you get over there and you see it's different. The same could be said for us with our culture. I was talking to this one lady a couple of weeks ago. Oh, I was talking to her about how come it seems like there's no outrage once a black person kills a black person, right? She asked me that. I mean, I wanted her to ask her. I could tell she had some questions. It was a long story, but she had questions. I was like, you can ask them. I'm like, make sure you be respectful. So I will get you together. But she was like, yeah, I want to know that. I'm like, that's the public perception. I was like, that man that got killed had a mama. Most likely had a wife or girlfriend. Most likely had kids. Had a brother, sister, uncles, childhood friends he grew up with. They all lost him suddenly. And you don't think that there's no records made. You don't think the mom is saying in interviews, we got to stop this senseless killing. You don't think the preacher at the funeral is saying we got to stop this senseless killing. You don't think his kids are advocating for stopping senseless killing. She was like, wow, that makes so much sense. I'm like, yeah. But what's portrayed on TV is only the, the bigger cases like George Floyd or something. Those types of cases, you don't see Ray Ray. You know what I'm saying? You may even hear about Ray Ray on the news, but you won't see nothing about his parents. You won't see him. You won't see the funeral. You won't see his children. You won't see if he had a will. You won't see if he had insurance. You know, but dating someone of the opposite sex, opposite race, you get to adequately convey and share your own culture, which is what they could do as well. They got some. I'm sure there's stuff that we just do. It's just a little bit different. All right, tell them to chill out. You better not be acting a fool over there. But yeah, that's another one. Another benefit. You get to be open-minded. You almost have to be if you want a successful interracial relationship. Open-minded means you can't think how you used to think. You have to be open to other considerations, open to other conversations, open to other ways of thinking, processing information, which can only help you better in life. Even past this relationship stuff, it'll just help you better in life. So that's also one. Then another big one is the blended parenting styles. Now, I we were talking earlier about, I think it was Nikki, about how the white boys treated her better and were able to express themselves better. That's some stuff that is not always easy for black folks to teach, and it's usually because we're struggling with it ourselves. So that's one benefit right there. That they'll be whole and well-rounded kids. They'll have the beat down, yelling, stepping their neck from me, and the more acceptable ways of expressing yourself, because that's really pretty much what they need to do. The kids, they need to be able to express themselves and be heard. Um, Clearly not in every instance. I'll never be that kind of parent. But yeah, blending the parenting style, I'm open to trying other things and seeing other stuff. Always open. Um, Another benefit is that you get to fight against racism, one relationship at a time. Kenya says perspective of life and interracial children is often way more balanced because they are exposed to so much from birth instead of only as adults. Agreed. Because you got a white granny and a grandma. I mean, grandma, grandpa. You got a black granny and grandpa. Hopefully, if everybody's still alive, you know, cousins, all that stuff. The few that I do know who have talked to me about their upbringing, their cousins don't necessarily like them, or they're cousins and they cool, but there's a little undertone of they black. You know what I mean? So I'm sure that'll hurt, but I do think overall being open minded in those blended parenting styles will help your children Fighting against racism is a thing. If you're a full couple, like full-on couple, like y'all are together exclusive, that's how it's supposed to be. Like you're an unofficial spokesperson for racism, for racists, against racism. Yeah, there we go. If you want to do it or not, that's just what it is. They're gonna see you. Folks may ask you about this, that, and then you don't necessarily even have to answer. You can be like, I ain't one of them. Don't bring it to me. But I think it would help if you would talk to people, not necessarily everybody, but just talk to some people. Yeah. Which race has the highest divorce rate? Now, when I was doing this research, y'all, this shocked me because it's black people. We have the highest rate of divorce, and it's because of black women. Black women have the highest. I'm sorry, have the highest. It should be I think I told you wrong. I put it down there wrong. The highest is the highest. Wait, which race has the highest divorce rate? It's black people, mainly black women. It says which race has the least divorce rate, and it's Asian women and foreign-born Hispanics. Foreign-born Hispanics, not Denise. Where was you born? Were you born in New Mexico, girl? So not you, but your cousins who you go see in Juarez and adjoining city. Was that racist? You know I love you, girl. No, but you said, yeah, it's not me. Yeah, it's not you. Asian women were sold as wives. Yeah. Well, and it still goes on now. I know a lady right now, she's probably 26, 27 now, 25, 26, 27. Her husband, all of 70. They look at marriage as a contract, like for pretty much what it is, instead of the other way around. So yeah. Yes, but back to it though. Black women are what was the stat? I actually I have the stats. It's really alarming too. I think we need to talk about that. I need to read up on that some more. I think it says I'm sorry, y'all. I don't want to even go too deep in that because I'm going to have to read all of it to understand it. Yeah. So the least successful in marriages, period, interracial or not, are black women. The most successful are Asian women. So let's go see Ling Ling. Y'all ready to go check out Ling Ling? Or they're racist too? No, I would expand your mind. Don't just leave it where you at. If your experiences have all been bad with one race, there's a couple other. Let's go see. Let's just go see how it'll work. If you've dated more than one black person, you've probably been hurt, and you ain't went nowhere. There are some who have changed sex orientation, and that's crazy too. That's real crazy. And check my fantasy football. Well, y'all is out here in these streets, ain't y'all? Is Zach? Is this street? Zach is street? I can't even remember. But yeah, no, I appreciate you guys being on with me tonight. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it on up a little bit. We've had some technical difficulties. My girl F.L.O.R been texting the whole time. She wish she can get on. Street, what's going on with you, bro? She wish she can get on. Internet's been crazy. Whole outages out there about him. So I pray they strengthen. So, but we was able to get it done. I hope this was able to help somebody. This is Crucial Convos where what's real will be talked about. I am Emery. That's why I can't. That was why I can't say that sentence right. I Emery. That's just weird. This is I Emery, and on behalf of my girl F.L.O.R, we appreciate y'all for sticking with us and hanging in there with us this evening. Amidst technical difficulties, y'all some G's. Y'all real with it. Appreciate it. All right, we're gonna get off here. We're gonna sign out. Until next week, people. Peace, love, and soul.
I cut it off early since we ain't had no music.